I want to tell you how I feel right now. I don't want to take no time to write this down. I want to tell you how I feel right now. Hey, tomorrow may never come. Tomorrow may never come. For you and me, life is not promised. Hey, y'all. Hey, the room is filling up quick. Life is not promised. I ain't no perfect man. I'm trying to do the best that I can with what it is I have. My voice is hoarse. It's early. You know me. I'm not used to going live this early, but hey, it's a special day. What's up, everybody? Hope you feel me. Hell yeah, most of. I was feeling this song because I was taking notes. I was going to just record this and make it a premiere. But then I was like, I don't want to take no time to write this down. I want to tell you how I feel right now. We never should be. You better hold this very moment very close to you. I'm going to have to grab my coffee because, again, my voice is hoarse. How y'all doing? Close to you. As you come in, can you hit that like button? Because you know it's going to be pretty live. Says, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My Abby said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. Shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Shine your light for the world to see. Sometimes I get discouraged. I know we all get discouraged sometimes. People are so weak. Sometimes I feel like dying. You got your vote? Heart gets heavy. Sometimes I just want to leave and fly away. Sometimes I don't know what to do with myself. Passion takes over me. Going insane, losing my brain, trying to maintain. Hey. Put my heart and soul into this, y'all. Hope you feel me wherever you are. Me and my lady. All right, let's get into this. Hold on, I'm gonna have to grab my coffee. Umi says, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. Shine your light on the world. Everybody got to shine their light on the world in some type of way, whether it's on a small scale, large scale. Shine your light for the world to see. We are all stars in one way or another. And if you haven't found your purpose yet, just meditate on it every day. Ask for the universe to show you signs. Ask for the universe to show you signs through a dream. Free to be free, to be free. Uh-oh, somebody already saying Trump gonna win. It's all that matters to me. If you want to change your life, change your thoughts. All right, let me see who's up in here. So we got 45 viewers. I'm going to wait a bit till we get about to like 60 before I get into this. I see we got Janelle in here. Hey, Janelle. Hey, Bobby. Hey, ex-girl. Let's see, we got Elle Moore. What's up? We got Toya. Hey, Toya. Hey, Lilith. We got Shy East, Terica. What's up, Terica? Hey, Indigo. Hey, it's in the air. What's up, Michelle? We got Murder the GB up in here. Maria. Let's see who else. We got Kanye Breast. Make me think of some chicken breast. I might have to give me a chicken breast sandwich today. Little Introvert is up in here. Let's see. We got Henry. What's up, Henry? We got Angel. Hey, Angel. India. What's up, India? Let's see who else we got. Kata. What's up? You said Orange Man again. I don't know. We're going to get into it. Hey, Connect. How you doing? Hey, Earth Angel. Earth Angel. Earth Angel. You know, will you be my darling dear? Oh, God, my voice. That's why I got to get my coffee in a minute. What's up, Beverly? We got Fly High Favor up in here. Jam and Berries. Rathy Rat, what's up? King Rick, hey, how you doing? Let's see, did I say Angel? We got Jerry up in here. Michelle Renee. Ask Mahogany. Ask Mahogany said, I just wanted an election video, and he said it will be Biden, but he will die soon after Kamala will be president. That's interesting. Wait till I get into my reading about this. Henry said Joe is a mouthpiece for the leftist agenda and Trump is a weirdo. America, I pity y'all. Where you at, Henry? Are you in America? Yeah, Mercury is stationary today, y'all. So this is going to be a very interesting election. Just with Mercury being stationary, coming off of being direct, there most certainly is going to be an issue with the counting of the votes. You can guarantee that. So we can just get that out the way right now. Whoever wins, I'm pretty sure they're going to contest the results. I don't think either party is going to concede right away. Hold on, let me get my coffee. Oh, Miss Day, shine your light on the world. Damn, okay. Okay, first things first, we're going to get into Joe Biden's chart. But before we do that, we're just going to get some small talk out the way because I got to warm up to this because this shit is deep. All right, what are y'all saying? So everybody who voted already, you don't even got to tell me who you voted for. If you want to, that's fine. Press a 1 if you voted. Is anybody waiting in line right now at the polls? Okay, so Terica, seldom seen. John voted. Let me see. Bree said I'll make the decision after this live. Well, I'll try to hurry it up so you'll have time to get to the polls. Jam and Berries, Marie Kelly, Connect voted. Indigo said he voted for Daffy Duck. Jerry-O voted. Hey, Karmic Life. Little Introvert said, when I read Little Introvert, I think about Little Uzi Vert. And I don't think I ever heard any of his music. I don't care to hear his music, but I don't know. Somebody could change my mind one day. I don't know. You said, yup, the Rothschild and Rockefellers run this, not a damn president. Janelle said, I'm not voting, but maybe you will change my mind. Okay. All right. Lilith said, somebody said that if you put Jesus on the polls, that goes to the Republicans. What? Jesus was a Republican? Karmic Life said, I'm not voting. I will say this. I'm neutral with both parties. Actually, I'm lying. I'm not neutral. I'll say I'm not in favor of either one of them. But if I had to vote, if somebody was holding a gun to my head and said, because I don't vote, I've only voted one time in my life, and it was just to prove a point because my sister was begging me to vote. I think was this the Obama election? Might have been, or maybe it was Bush and Gore, but that's the only time I voted in my life. I'm just what you call a conscientious objector, I guess you would call it. I've always been one of those real independent thinkers. So if I had to choose a political party, it would be the independent party, I guess, or maybe libertarian or something like that. But I just don't get into the whole voting process because I have my thoughts about this government and other governments of the world. But that's my thing. So I'm not going to be adding my bias to it. I'm looking at this with objectivity. But if somebody was holding a gun to my head, I know who I would vote for, but I'm not going to tell y'all just yet because this is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. So, whoever I say, people going to be, like, what the hell? What you talking about? Huh? So I feel like this truly is the lesser of two evils. And I'm not down with that type of approach. If both of them are evil, I'm like, why even participate in the process? But that's just me. Everybody else got their own political beliefs and all that stuff. The thing is, I'm very political, but in my own way. Like for years, I've kept up on world events and like been reading history and stuff like that. So I'm very knowledgeable about how the world works, especially like on a government level. I mean, definitely on a spiritual level, but especially like just dealing with the history of governments and different types of government systems and things like that. Above all else, I'm a truth seeker. So regardless of political affiliation, regardless of, who I feel like is a better candidate or whatever, I'm about truth. And I feel like if the truth is not being told, I'm not siding with anybody. So that's just my take on it. Let me see what else y'all are saying. It's Meanie said voting is pointless. Maria Garcia said never voted. Let's see. Connect said my first polling place had a malfunction with the computers after standing in line for an hour. Yeah, I'm not surprised with Mercury being stationary right now, coming right off of retrograde. So yeah. And tell me y'all, I forget how this goes. How quick do they get the votes in? Like, how quick do they count up the votes? I swear in past elections, like, we would find out the very same night or maybe early in the morning who won. Am I correct in that assessment or that belief? Don't they usually have the answer by the end of the night? Which if that's true, because my memory fails me. Hey, my Bills. My Bill said, thanks for going live on this. I'm not voting for this first time since I turned 18. It's not meant for me to vote. If it was, I'd be in my hometown right now. Okay. So we have a mix of people in here, those who vote, those who don't vote. Okay, John said it's usually early in the morning, like 12 a.m. Okay, this is where my skepticism comes in. Because I'm like, how they going to count all those votes that quick? I know they got computer systems and all that, but like somebody just mentioned, what about the mail-in votes? So Jam and Barry said mail-in votes can come up to 3 days later or something like that. Music Lover said, but now it should take weeks with all these mailing your ballots. Exactly. Raj Tarot said he's not voting this year. Lilith said, and those who are looking at the circuits from outside. My Bill said, unless there's a hanging chat or whatever. I was just saying, my Bills, because Mercury is stationary today, there's probably going to be some issue with the count. Either it's going to be a delay, and that could be due to the mail-in votes, or there's going to be a request for a recount. And I was saying it looks like either side that wins, they're probably going to contest the results and ask for a recount. Bobby Morgan said, never voted, never will. Mass ritual. Lil says celebrities get paid to promote candidates. Another thing I have a problem with the election process is that the candidates, it's like they're already chosen for you. Seem like they're not chosen by the people. These are people that already have connections in government usually, and it's never what you call that Joe the plumber. You never have a Joe the plumber becoming president, even if he's been like a CEO of his own company for many years. And because Donald Trump, he wasn't in the government before becoming president, but he had connections, and he's like high up there in terms of the financial elite, I guess you would say. So he already had connections, and I feel like he owed somebody a favor, which is why they put him in office. Because truth be told, I don't think Donald Trump even wanted to be president, or you could say he didn't care either way. I mean, he's a stone cold Gemini, so and the way he just acts all flippant and stuff, I just don't see him really even caring. For him, it's like it could be all an act. And he is a Leo rising, let's be real. With Mars and Leo in the 12th house. My bill said it's a game. It's a game. The way you mess around with my mind. Okay. So let's see how many people. Okay, we got 83 people in here. I'm not going to get into this. Look, I'm going to start getting like how these other YouTubers are. Usually I'm nice, right? But it's Scorpio season, so I might not be as nice as I was before. So I'm going to do like how some of these other YouTubers and be like, I'm not getting into this stuff until y'all get the like button up. Come on, get them likes up. Like and share, because I have some insight. Javion said, hold up on the Gemini insults. We not that bad. Single YouTubers are usually, I'm nice, right? You know what? Every time I want to give Gemini a chance, there's a Gemini that comes along and just proves y'all right on the dark side. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Every time I want to be like, Gemini ain't that bad, a Gemini comes up out of the woodwork and does some Gemini dark-sided Gemini shit, and I'd be like, yeah, they are. And most people could attest to that shit. First of all, there's too many Geminis in the world, number one, like I always say. Too many of y'all. Indigo said, we are not going to drag Gemini today. Right? But you know what? It is Scorpio season, and Scorpio clashes with Gemini, but kind of in a good way, though. There's this peculiar connection between Gemini and Scorpio. And what's interesting is we got an election between a Gemini and a Scorpio. Isn't that funny? Carrie said Geminis are blowing out the water. Cray cray. John said Gemini be having dual persona that is real stupid. Henry said, I feel like I've known 782 Geminis and 4 of any other sign. Why y'all bugging me all the time? Sincerely, a Pisces. It's Meanie said, Gemini women are cool. The men, actually, I'm real cool with Geminis. I just, you know me, I be fucking with everybody. But I just got to keep it real about how the signs just be tripping sometimes. But honestly, I will say this. I've learned a lot from Geminis, so I'll give y'all that. Y'all Geminis, y'all always teaching me some new shit, or y'all always putting me on to some other shit or whatever like that. So I'll give y'all that. Y'all be coming with the knowledge, and y'all put ideas in people's heads, and they be like, okay, I didn't think about that from that perspective. I didn't think about that like that. So I'll give y'all that. Kimberly said, way too many Geminis in my life since I was born. Music Lover said, if Geminis are not getting dragged, it's Libras. Not here, though, but in other channels. Frankie said, you have something against Virgos. Hell yeah, I do. I got a big beef with Virgos, but I also have some really good Virgo people in my life. Like most of my Virgo clients, I would say all of them now. Yeah, they're cool. I'm real cool with them. I did have this one Virgo client where me and her we no longer because she got real dark sided Virgo on my ass, and I had to say, look, honey, I'm not even gonna talk about it because, but yeah, I did have to let a Virgo client go before, and that was like the only throughout my whole tenure. I was like, I've only had the and I even let her go. I just when I get real firm with somebody to the point where I know that okay, when I say this, it's going to crush them to the point, and I always say it with love. But when I'm like, okay, when I gotta really turn the real meter up past 10, that's when I know, okay, this relationship's about to come to an end because they can't handle the hardcore truth. Exactly. My Capricorn side comes out real serious. And that's when I know, okay, this relationship's over simply off of what I'm about to tell this person. And I'm coming to them with love, but I know that it's going to hurt so much that they can't, they just going to walk away. Walk on by. Janelle said, Geminis explain things so well. Yeah, they are teachers. But Sweet Rose said, Gemini are nuts, but Biden is horrid. I mean, really, what would you rather have in office, a Gemini or a Scorpio? Let's just put a bag over each of their heads. Forget about their names. What would y'all rather have in office? We've already had a Gemini. Can y'all remember any Scorpio presidents? I'm not good with presidential history and stuff like that in terms of signs. But wasn't John F. Kennedy a Gemini? Okay, hold on. This is going too fast. Let's see. Janelle said Gemini. Salome said Gemini. Blonde Critic said Scorpio. Caleb said Scorpio. No, Caleb said Gemini. Oh, good. We got 102 people in here, but only 51 likes. We got to get at least to like 70% likes. Connect said, I love Scorpios. Music lover, Gemini. Danielle said Gemini. Honestly, I'd rather have a Scorpio in office than a Gemini. But that kind of conflicts what I was going to say earlier. That's interesting. I'll say this. It just seems like a Scorpio would be more effective at that job. They could handle the pressure better, I would say. Typically, not on an individual level because you got to deal with what else is in their chart. But just in general, if we're talking about the two signs, I'd rather have a Scorpio in office because they can really deal with shit under pressure. And they can be really serious when it comes to their job. Is there ever a time when Gemini is fully serious? Is there ever a time when you could fully trust Kanye Breast? You just took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say, is there ever a time where you could fully trust a Gemini? My bill said Gemini is too fickle, right? NYC Black said Gemini. Seldom said Hillary was a Scorpio. Yeah, you got those dark-sided Scorpios too. Now the Sag president, they be cool until you piss them off. Then they'll be ready to hit that nuclear button. Because Sag got a horrible temper. So, but then they would hit that nuclear button and then regret it right afterwards. Like, God damn, why did I just do that? And they'd be like, send the emergency relief team over to whatever country we just bombed. And then we'd be all having all that emergency relief fund. Sagittarius be having mad parties in the White House. Sometimes work just wouldn't get done. Daddy's favorite said, I wouldn't want an Aries president. Henry said, Kim Jong-un is a Capricorn, so we don't need a Capricorn president. John said, I will ignore a Sag temper. We need a Libra president, really? That president will never be able to make up their mind on a bill. Should I veto it or should I sign it? I don't know. What should I do? Might as well just step aside and let the vice president take over. Hello. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Oh, hell no. A Taurus is going to be too stern. I do not want a Taurus as a president. You could get the hell up out of here with that. Nobody be having fun. Yeah, they be level headed, but goddamn, they would be pretty rigid when it came to their policies and shit. Hey, Cameron. Tell them said boring, right? Well, we can expect there not to be much war with a Taurus president. That's good. We could have peace for a while and plenty of food. Connect said, what sign would be the ideal president? I would say Capricorn, the sign that rules governments and government leaders. Now Leo rules, royalty, and that can point to, that could go coincide with the president and leadership. So you'll see Leo come up when I'm talking about these people's charts, because that's one of the signs you want to look for presidency. So if you have if you got a Capricorn president, and let's say that he's a Leo rising, that might actually work. And then let me see, what should his moon be in? Taurus moon, because like people were saying, that Taurus moon is going to be, stability. It's going to be practical. The president's going to be very conscious about the economy and the ecology. So both, he'll be conscious about the environment, but he'll also be conscious about the economy as well. Even though that moon will conflict with that Leo rising, as long as that moon is far away where it's not squaring that ascendant, it would be okay. Salome said Kennedy was a Gemini Virgo moon. And Marilyn Monroe was a Gemini, so explains why he was all up her ass all the time. And didn't John F. Kennedy always have his head cocked to the side a little bit? That might be a Gemini thing. You know how Gemini, they always got some type of quirk. I swear, John F. Kennedy, he would always have his head cocked to the side. First of all, I don't trust nobody with a crooked neck. Like, I was watching one of those Vlad episodes, and that producer, Darkchild, was on there. What's his name? Rodney Jerkins. And the whole time, he was sitting in a studio chair. His head was all cocked to the side. Trust me, don't trust people with a crooked ass neck. That's a clear sign that they're crooked in some way. Like, for real, you got to take it literally. And I know we all know somebody with a crooked neck. Even during the interview, he tried to straighten that neck up. It went straight back to his shoulder. I was like, stop. I was like, he can't even be straight up if he want to be. Wait a minute. Don't Donald Trump kind of... Wait, Donald Trump kind of turns his neck like that too, don't he? He does. He be having his head to the cock to the side quite a bit. Yeah. That you don't want to trust nobody that got the crooked neck, or somebody that blinks a bit too much. You ever deal with somebody that blinks too much? That could be a Gemini trait too. Either they blink a lot or they just wink. They do those random winks. You look, I'm gonna give y'all signs to watch out for. You dealing with a stone cold liar or somebody that's just crooked. It's the crooked neck. Also, somebody blinking their eyes a bit too much. What's another one? What are some traits of lying, y'all? What are some other ones? Oh, when somebody when they're telling a story and then they look up and to the right, or is it looking up and to the left? Because that means like they're like fishing for stories. Fly Lee said Biden is senile. Oh yeah, let me throw my Cash App out here too, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna have time to do free readings, but if you ever want to just donate to the cause, especially since I'm putting in this work for the election, feel free to do that. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah. Where's my phone? Okay. I'm about to get into this situation in a minute, but I'm just trying to get warmed up because I got a lot of information to share. Anna said, "Oh my God, my Gemini husband randomly winks at me when I walk by. They love to wink, and it's unconscious, really. Oh, you really don't want to trust a mouth breather either. That's another one. I'm glad you mentioned that, Cherry Love. You know P. Diddy, he's a mouth breather. Right? You don't trust a mouth breather. What are some other traits you got to look for to see that somebody could be shady? I feel like somebody that got their hands always in their pockets, you might want to, be a little wary of them too. A man with birthing hips, Robin said. I agree. There is a saying, you don't trust a man with wide hips. Also, you don't trust somebody that, they had this weird, like, little cackle after each sentence or whatever. Those type of people. A lot of Geminis do that too. I used to have a Gemini ex as a teenager and Gemini boyfriend as a teenager, and he would do that shit. Like after each sentence, it'd be like, yeah, yeah, that type of stuff. Henry said, apparently I can't be trusted because I have wide hips. Damn. Are they rounded though? Because if they're rounded, you really can't be trusted. Ike Turner was a Scorpio. He was one of them classic dark sided Scorpios. Like he definitely needs to be down in the book of dark sided Scorpios for real. Cause he lived according to his purpose. I'll tell you that as a dark sided Scorpio. Libras do that cackle too. Henry said they're kind of rounded. I figure more like an hourglass, like than a typical male. Honestly, Henry, I used to wonder if you was a woman. I really did by some of your commentary. So it's funny that you got the wide hips because you give off some strong woman vibes. Let me tell you, you must got a half of a Y in your chromosomes. That Y just cut off a little bit right at the tail. Yeah, it's not a half of a Y. It just shaved off a little bit. Because I swear to God, Henry, I used to be like, is Henry a woman? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because the way you would be talking about dudes and stuff, I was like, is Henry a woman? Indigo said, Henry, are you related to Tim Norman? That ain't right, Indigo. But hey, if you gay, I mean, that's cool. Like, are you a feminine gay or are you masculine gay? Because if you masculine gay, those hips could still be a problem. You know what I'm saying? But if you feminine, shoot, play that shit up. I have my stretch pants on and everything. Just sashaying. Oh, thank you so much. My bills sent me a donation. She loves me. Thank you so much for the donation. Indigo said gay as fuck. I remember one time I seen this dude going into the store. He had wide hips and a bubble butt. And that shit was just so bouncy as he walked. I just felt so sorry for him. I was hoping he was gay. Henry, you're more on the feminine and you said you don't do masculinity, but I don't play an act either. I'm just me. So how do you deal with those hips, like in terms of clothing? Like, do you wear like form-fitting jeans? I know you don't wear no damn skinny jeans, please. Looking like a Teletubby. Please don't be wearing no skinny jeans with those hips. See, you got to dress accordingly, according to your body type. Some people don't realize that. Some people, you know what I'm saying? You go out, you see somebody, they just not dressed according to their body type. Everybody can look pretty decent as long as they dress according to their body type. Indigo said the boys in the South be having them birth-in hips. You said you do wear skinny jeans? Lord have mercy. Oh, damn. Do you have a big butt too? And what you be wearing with the skinny jeans? Please say you wear some high top Converse to balance that shit out, please. I'm just fucking with you, Henry. I know they're not that bad. That's why I was fucking with you hard. Harry said, I mean, my hips are so big that they cause a distraction, but I have gotten compliments. Angel said, if your hips are bigger than mine, we have a problem. John said, I wear men's skinny jeans. Henry said, yes, I have a big butt, Rahbinah. Why are you asking so many questions? Because I'm trying to get the visual of what you look like. Connect said, when I first got to Atlanta, I felt inadequate. Dudes had hella shapely bodies with walks, way more feminine than mine. Damn. How they gonna force a flat on you, Danny? I mean, get it if you want it, but don't be surprised if it comes with a lot of problems. But yeah, that Knight of Swords can deal with where they're forcing it on you. So you could look at it from that perspective, but I'm like, how they gonna force a place to live on you? I guess they're saying that you can't choose a different place. But good luck with that. So yeah, the Knight of Swords can either mean, I always say that's the Duggish Ruggish card, but it's the get the fuck out of Dodge card. That's what I call that. But on the other end, it could deal with where you are being forced to do something. You're being compelled to do it. Now, if you like it, that's what's up. So, but I just say, just be on guard, because that Knight of Swords is also about being on guard. Being on guard for riffraff, crime. That is a criminal card. That's a card where you might have to call the po-po. So just be on guard for that. Critica, you funny. You said, Danny, tell them you have the ether and can't shit. Then they'll be trying to lock her down. Rashawn said, as a man, my butt is kind of big. My Mars is in Sagittarius. You know what? Some men look good with big butts. Just when as long as it's not too prominent. Lil says some women like men's asses for some disgusting reason. I like a nice ass on a man. What you talking about? First of all, I like the whole package. So if a man got a nice body, that's his ass included. I like looking. First of all, I'm ass patrol, period. Whether it's man or a woman, and that's my Mars and Gemini. If you got a nice ass booty, you got a nice ass booty, whether you a man or a female. So I'm like, shoot, celebrate the booty, men or women. I'll tell you who got some nice ass booty. Like, of course, athletes are going to have the nice booties for men, but them swimmers, because I was watching the Olympics. I subscribe to the Olympics YouTube channel. So I like to watch some of my favorite Olympic games. So I like to watch the divers. Man, them divers, they be wearing them little skimpy little bikinis, Speedos or whatever. And then their little butt cheeks, their muscled ass butt cheeks be peeking out up top. Man, they got cute little butts. And then, of course, the football players, especially those wide receivers, they got those nice tight asses and those nice pants. And then even some of them baseball players. Some of them got some big ass booties. I'm not into the big ass booty baseball player, but some of them got some nice ones too. Usually they be the and usually the pitcher ain't pitcher's butt's usually a bit too big for my taste. But y'all know, y'all, some of y'all ladies know what I'm talking about when I talk about them wide receivers. They got the best bodies in football, if you ask me. Them and some of the running backs. And then if we talk about basketball, see, because I'm a Sag and with my Mars and Gemini, I'm very observant of different body types and stuff because I like to see like perfection in terms of the human body, like especially if it's like lean but muscular. So in terms of basketball, my favorite body type is those point guards. Yes. Track and field dudes, they're a little too lean and muscular for my taste. You know what I'm saying? Some of them got nice bodies. Indigo says Stephon Marbury got a big old butt. Yeah, he does, and those big lips. X-Girl said, I love a tight end. They have the best build bodies, tall and strong. Yeah, and they bulky too, but they're not fat. Those ones, what are the ones that are fat? The linebackers? You know how you could be fat but play football? What position be the fat dudes? They be the guards. I mean, not the guards. The nose tackles, right? And the linebackers be fat too, right? Janelle said football players look great in their outfits. And I've been watching a lot of weightlifting competitions because it's Scorpio season. I've been having a ball watching those. I've been learning about the conversion from kilograms to pounds and shit. I'm like, oh, I'm smart now. Anybody lift weights up in here? Trust me, we're going to get into the Biden and Trump shit, but I'm getting a little warmed up still. And of course, it's Scorpio season, so we're going to talk about some Scorpio. Anybody lift weight? Who lifts weights up in here? Sierra's husband got a nice body. What's his name? I forget his name. Kanye Breast said, so you lift weights? You're a female, right? You look like a female. I can't tell. Jeanette says she lifts weights. Danielle lifts weights. That's what's up. Oh, the Hodge twins are fine. They're fine until they start talking. And then they sound real stupid. Wait, let me try to, is somebody knocking on my door? Wait. I'm trying to, get their southern accent. They sound real stupid when they speak. I think they're hot though. And you know me, with my Mars and Gemini, I'll take two at a time. 2 for 1, baby. That's the only way I want them if it was both of them at the same time. What I got to do with just one of them? I'm like, where your brother at? And I'd be like, just don't talk. Yeah, but they fine as hell, but that voice kills me every time. I can't do it. Oh my God, they're Virgos. No wonder why. You see, I got this sexual thing for Virgos, but I can't stand them outside the bedroom. But yeah, I love me, like, sexually, I love me a Virgo, I have to admit. So it makes sense. Thank you, Henry. It's Meanie said, my Mars and Gemini want both of them too, right? We be wanting that BOGO deal. Shit. Ladies, if you never had a BOGO deal when it comes to men, just try it. It might be a little too late for some of y'all, but y'all young chicks, don't be afraid to try it. These dudes be doing it all the time. And most dudes nowadays, it seems like, because I be hearing my young clients talk, he asked me for a threesome. He asked me for a threesome. You better get your own threesome and have another dude with you, because that's like you on top of the world, especially if both of them know what they're doing. Time to flip the script on these dudes and get your own BOGO deal. Start asking your man for a threesome, you and your buddy. You and your best friend. I don't like threesome relationships, but I like your occasional threesome, like maybe back in like 1996 and shit. And then maybe a couple of times, and then you be like, you could always have that memory forever. I don't really think threesomes are to be done on the regular. That's that special occasion shit. That's that, once in a blue moon type shit. Otherwise, it's not gonna be special. And then somebody always gets gypped in threesomes. Somebody's always getting more attention than the other, if you notice. So that's not cool either. It's going to be rare where everybody's getting equal attention. And then you always got the split off. So usually 2 people out of the threesome is going to start seeing each other on the side. Usually that's how it works. That's why they could be messy. This is why you want to just do it once in a blue moon. Maybe once every 10 years. Shit. Hey, do y'all think at the nursing home some of them old people be getting it in, like threesomes and shit? I would think, first of all, with these baby boomers headed into the nursing home, nursing home's about to be freaky as shit. Because them baby boomers, they were the ones who came out first with the freak nasty shit and the sexual liberation. I feel sorry for anybody that got work in a nursing home because they are going to be fucking and sucking all over the place. Wait a minute, Tara. Yeah. So you already seen it? Because you was working in a nursing home. That's right. So you've seen it. Fucking and sucking in a nursing home. Wow. She said it's not pretty. Wow. About to start a fire in there because them old ladies' vages are dry as shit. Man, I couldn't. Indigo said I accidentally walked in on an old couple long ago, still scarred. Oh. Wait a minute. Maria said we have a setup room for them to get frisky. My Bill said my dad's still frisky at 70 line. Lord have mercy. Anna said I love threesomes, but then again, I had Mars and Aquarius in the 8th and Scorpio rules my 5th. Wow. And Jupiter in Sagittarius. Jesus. All night long. You like it all night long. All night. Henry said, I got this image of a gangbang in a nursing home cafeteria with Genuine in the background. Oh my God. If you're horny, ride that old pony. Right? These baby boomers, and look, the younger generation of baby boomers, they're headed for the nursing home like my parents. So, yeah, I could just imagine. Cameron said it was me, Taurus, and this Scorpio and Leo who were dating. I hooked up with both of them on the side. I was like 18. Naughty, naughty. But that was some fun, wasn't it? I know it was. That's why I was talking about squares and how I was saying, I find I'd be hard pressed to find a Scorpio square. So when I find one, I'd be kind of like, what the hell? And sometimes it's just fun being bad. But who's to say what a lot of this stuff is bad? You might have been raised to think certain stuff was bad simply because you were raised in some type of religion. Lilith said, them old men have the dick pumps. They have to go to the bathroom real quick to pump their dick. Oh. My thing is, if you got to do all that, even if you got to take Viagra, why even have sex at all? Like, to me, I think it's a good thing once you get old and you don't have a sex drive no more. Or you can't get it up no more. That means that it's basically time to, move on to bigger and better things or higher things. I feel like that's what your body and your soul is telling you. That's why you can't get... it's under certain circumstances. Let's say that a man's in his 40s. That's different. Or even 50s and he's on that blood pressure medication. Because I heard that blood pressure medication will make a dude real limp. So I be feeling for those dudes that got the high blood pressure and shit. All the blood going to his head and not his real, the head that count. Damn. So I understand that. But those old, I know some of them older men still got it too. But child, when I was around, I would say 16, I was dealing with this dude. And he was already out of high school. So he must have been like 19. And the main reason why I like dealing with him is because he let me drive his car because I was trying to learn how to drive a car then. And he had a car. So he would pick me up from school a lot. And I would chill on the weekends with him and his boys. And they loved to gamble. He was also a hunter. I can't remember what his sign was, but I think he might have been a Libra. But even back then, this dude, like, his penis wouldn't get fully hard. And I used to feel sorry for him. Like, he did not do it to me, like, do it for me sexually. But he was a cool ass dude. And like I said, he had that car. So he would let me drive his car. And trust me, like, this is back in the day. Like, we're talking about like 1992. This dude's car did not have power steering. Have you ever drove a car that don't have power steering? That's my Mars and Gemini retrograde in the 6th house, having to learn how to drive a car, don't have power steering. That shit was hard trying to turn them corners and shit. So yeah, he had an old ass car. Actually, the car wasn't even that old, but I know a lot of y'all young people don't know, but back in the day, that was an option. You could get a car, and some of y'all old heads like me remember this. Some of those cars had a power steering. Like, it wasn't just what do you call that? It wasn't just automatic with the car. So he didn't have no power steering with his car. So I had to learn. I also learned on my daddy's caddy too. But I also was driving his car a lot too. But anyway, yeah, his dick was semi-limp all the time. Yup, my Bills remember. She said, yep, your arms be tired as hell. Y'all don't understand the struggle that us older people had to go through in life. We had the rotary phones, the phones that you actually had to like have hooked up to the wall and shit. Most of y'all don't even know about cordless phones anymore. Y'all just know about cell phones, some of y'all. We didn't have the internet. We had a TV. Like, I grew up, like, early part of my life, it wasn't no remote control. We was the remote control. We had to get up and turn the TV for our parents. Turn at channel 48. And it was a dial. You had to do. Yeah. But it was more fun back then. I feel like. Especially like back then, most kids would play outside. Y'all remember anybody that was born in the 70s or early 80s? Y'all remember most kids would have their fun playing outside until that damn Nintendo came on board. And actually, even during the early Nintendo era, he was only like 19, can't even stay hard. It wasn't Atari that, see, I grew up when Atari had first came out. Like, I'm that old. Like, I was playing Atari, I was playing Pac-Man, all that type of stuff. I remember the day my grandparents bought us the Atari 2600, I think it was called. And we had the Batman, and we had other games like Combat and stuff like that. But kids was still playing outside and stuff, even with the Atari. Same with Nintendo, like the early part of Nintendo era. Kids still found time to play Mario Brothers and go outside. But then the more they started to advance this technology with the video game, and I believe that they're putting something in these video games that are like brainwashing people, brainwashing these kids or hypnotizing them. Now kids don't want to play outside no more. Cameron said I was born in 91 and we lived outside as kids, even with okay. But see, you probably lived in a community that was like more community-based, family-based, where, yeah, it was still like old school. Hopefully, Cosmic Homegirl talk about Dungeons and Dragons. As a kid, I was told not to play around with that stuff because it was of the devil. Dungeons and Dragons is of the devil. Oh, yeah, I remember Catch a Girl, Get a Girl. Yup. Those were the days. Oh, Centipede. I used to love Centipede. Yes. Space Invaders. Kata said, just wait till the sex bots came out. Let me see what else y'all are saying. I love to reminisce. You know me. Oh, yeah, I remember them big, ugly car phones. And those dudes thought they was the shit with them. Robin said, erectile dysfunction is that bull. I broke up with someone over that. I'm not that mature to deal with floppy meat. Me and you both. And that's why I got with his friend later on. Now, Lilith said, choking yourself with the phone cord, right? And remember, people would get the extra long phone cords so they could bring the phone into their bedroom. And then remember, your parents could pick up that phone and see if you was on the phone. Remember that shit? Or you could pick up the phone on somebody else and eavesdrop on their phone call. That was the shit. We had some advantages back in the day. You would just put your hand over that receiver and you be all listening in on the phone call. Indigo said, who remember when mama called you in the other room just to change the channel? Hell yeah. That shit used to piss me off. Rathy said, remember adjusting the aerial for signal? Yup. Ronan said, these days where your TV had a fat ass and outside was our social media. Yup. I always wanted one of those floor TVs, those floor models, but I don't think my parents could ever afford one, or maybe they just didn't want to spend money on one of those floor models. But yeah, I used to be a little jealous of my friends that had the floor model TV. Cosmic said Intellivision was another early game system. Yup, and ColecoVision. Caleb said there are natural remedies for penile issues, but this was the early 90s. I don't think he knew about that shit. But I know that had to be a source of embarrassment for him because he was really struggling to get that shit in. And, you know, it was just like one of them half-deflated balloons and shit. It ain't going to work. Henry said, this talk of sex made me realize how much I need a hookup. And that's not great because my country goes into lockdown for a month tomorrow. You better put on some skinny jeans and get the fuck out and get you some D before they lock you down. Put some smell goods on. Who calls cologne smell goods? Is that a Philly thing? Is that an East Coast thing? I know that's ghetto. In Philly, they call cologne smell goods. Is that, do they say that anywhere else in this country? Or is that just a Philly thing? You got some smell goods? Philly got their own slang, so I don't know if that's a Philly term or if that's a military term. Smell goods. Lil said sounds stupid, right? Danielle said I've heard that before. Connect said I tell my girls to put on their smell goods. Okay. Virgin Love said that's an East Coast thing, girl. So that's a thing in the South too, K. Brooks. Tara said the men call it panty droppers. My Bill said East St. Louis say that. I didn't know that until one of my friends told me that in Detroit, that saying for real though, I think that's the saying in Detroit. That's a Detroit saying. In Philly, like I was saying in my last live, they call anything can be called a John. And I actually got to spell it out just so y'all understand how I'm saying it. In Philly, it's called John. So anything can be a John. Yo, I want to get those Johns over there. And he could be talking about sneakers. Yo, pass me that John. And he could be talking about a blunt. I don't know where how that originated or whatever, but yeah. Philly got some funny slang. Rashawn said, I love candy since I'm such a tourist. All right. So we got enough likes now. So we're going to get into this situation with Biden and Trump. Are y'all ready? You got your popcorn? You got your tasty cakes? Tasty cakes, very East Coast. They got them out on the West Coast now, but I don't trust them. They even got a tasty cake factory. But if it's not coming straight from the East Coast, I don't trust no tasty cakes. Same kind of with Intamins. Like, I grew up, and I know a lot of y'all grew up on Intamins, but some of y'all East Coast, y'all know about them tasty cakes, especially if you're from Philly and Jersey. But the ones out here, I don't trust. I'm like, and oh my God, what are your favorite tasty cakes? My all-time favorite is the butterscotch crimpets. Who knows about those butterscotch crimpets? The jelly ones are pretty good too. But them butterscotch crimpets, oh my God. That cake be so soft and spongy and moist, and then that butterscotch frosting. Oh, they got tasty cakes. Where you at, Tara? Yeah, you on the East Coast. You like the jelly, jam, and berry. I'm not surprised, jam and berries. So you like the crumb cakes. I could go for a tasty cake crimpet, but like I said, I could go to because they got a little bakery warehouse, not even too far from me, but I don't trust them. But I don't know. Maybe I should stop being like that. I'm like, is the recipe even going to be the same? Know what else I want to try, which is New York. I want to go to New York and try a chopped cheese. Any of my New Yorkers up in here? See, Philly got the cheese steak. And I'm talking about food right now because I am hungry, I guess. And but I'm about to get into this Biden thing. And then New York, they're known for their chopped cheese. I want to try that so bad. Somebody invite me to New York so I have an excuse to get a chopped cheese. I've been to New York before, but I've been in New York a few times, but I never had a chopped cheese, and I want one. Janelle from Brooklyn. Janelle said New York City got the heroes. In Philly and Jersey, we call heroes or subs, we call it hoagies. Indigo said Chicago is known for their deep dish pizzas. True, but know what else Chicago is known for, which I love? The beef sandwiches. Oh my God. And I love Chicago style hot dogs with the pickles and that poppy seed bun. Yes. Siobhan, look up chopped cheese on YouTube and you'll see all these channels where they're making chopped cheese in New York. Connect said, I've been to Philly once when I was a flight attendant, had to get me a cheesesteak. That's right. Yes. You can't leave Philly until you've had a cheesesteak. What's Harold's Chicken? Rashawn said you could get them from the corner store with the chopped cheese. Yeah, I heard that, you basically go to a bodega. I think they're the most prolific in Harlem and the Bronx. But, yeah. If I ever make it to New York again, I'm getting me one of them chopped cheese. Robin says Chicago has some of the best food. I go home just to eat. I love that Chicago Italian beef sandwich, boy. So the chopped cheese is in Brooklyn too? What about them ghetto fried chicken places that all the cities got? It'd be like Kennedy fried chicken, Crown fried chicken, and it either be the Arabs running them spots or the Asians. Usually be the Arabs running them spots, but they only exist in the hood. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Crown fried chicken, Kennedy fried chicken. What's another fried chicken one? Alhamdulillah chicken. It always be the Arabs running them ones. Yeah, exactly. Is the Arabs running the ones where y'all are at? With the Crown chicken, the Kennedy chicken? Stop playing. Y'all got an Obama fried chicken in New York? The Jam and Berry said nobody's checking for Crown chicken. Hip hop chicken in Baltimore. That sounds good. That better be good. Texas fried chicken. Hollywood fried chicken. That sound whack. Anybody ever had chicken and waffles? Now that's the shit. In Arizona, they got a nice soul food place called Lolo's. They make some good chicken and waffles. I never had Roscoe chicken and waffles, so I would love to go there and try them. But the one we have here, Lolo's, shit, their chicken and waffles are the shit. All right. Now, let's get into Biden. So I got to pull up his chart, but I did take some notes. But I want the visual. I should take a picture of it and add it. Now, we're going to be focusing more on Biden and Kamala Harris than Trump, because Trump is already in office, especially in terms of his natal chart. So we already know that he's capable of becoming president because he is president. So there's certain things in his chart namely the fact that he has Mars rising in Leo in his chart. Again, I'm talking about Donald Trump. And his ascendant is at the 29th degree of Leo. It's conjoined to Regulus. Regulus is a very fortunate fixed star. Some call it the most benefic fixed star in the heavens. And a lot of government leaders, kings, presidents, have a planet or their ascendant or their midheaven in contact with this star, Regulus. So just off of that alone, that was one of the qualifiers in Donald Trump's chart that enabled him to become president. Now, let me just pull up Biden's chart real quick. I should copy and paste it in the, I think I will. Copy, file. You know I'm not going to be on long today because once I get real hungry, I don't have no problem getting off. I got to eat. And I only eat one meal a day anyway. So when it gets time, around that time, that's why I got to kind of hurry up now after. But yeah, when it gets around that time, I'm going to be like, I got to go. Okay, let me see if I can find this. Umi said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. Okay. Sometimes I get discouraged. Look around. This don't look that clear though. Sometimes I feel like dying. Actually, it's looking clearer now. Sometimes my heart gets heavy. Sometimes I just want to leave and fly away. Sometimes I don't know what to do with myself. Okay. Passion takes over me. Okay. Here's Biden's chart. Okay. So the main thing I was looking for when I was looking at Biden's chart was, could he be elected president, right? So there was some things that I saw that can basically result in him being elected president. Hey, Mickey, how you doing? So the chief aspect is that his Pluto is in trine with his ascendant. So remember I was saying the sign Leo is going to come up in terms of presidency, and that's going to be a running theme. So Joe Biden's Pluto is in Leo, and it's in trine with his Sagittarius ascendant. Sagittarius is the sign of politics, and Leo is the sign of leaders. His Pluto is also in sextile to his Saturn in Gemini. Now that aspect right there is pointing to him being the vice president during Obama's administration in particular. Why I say that is because Saturn's in Gemini, and Gemini is one of the signs that could deal with like a vice president, somebody that's a second runner up, you could say. And then his Leo North Node is in trine with his moon. His Leo North Node is in the 10th house, which can point to him being a political leader. Yes, Umi says. So those aspects alone, first of all, put him in the White House. So he's already had the vice presidency, but I was looking in particular to see, does he have what it takes to be elected president? So the chief aspect, again, to reiterate, that points to him having the ability to be elected president is Pluto trine ascendant. And then also, let me see, Pluto is ruling his 12th house. Oh, this is another thing I want to talk about too with him. Now, with that being said, keep in mind that Joe Biden, if you can see clearly that chart, he has a Scorpio stellium with 3 of the planets of that stellium in the 12th house, right? And then he has, so the fact that Pluto is trining the ascendant, and Pluto rules the 12th house because Scorpio is ruling that house. that tells me that if Biden wins, it will be due to voter fraud. So I'm putting it out there right there. I'm going to repeat what I just said. So Biden has that Scorpio stellium in the 12th house, right? Pluto is ruling the 12th house. Pluto is in the 8th house. 8th house deals with a number of things, but one of the things that Pluto and Scorpio rules is fraud, okay? Pluto, ruler of the 12th house, is in trine with his ascendant. So again, I say if Biden wins, it will be due to voter fraud. It will be because there was something going on behind the scenes that made him happen. When you're dealing with a president that has a Scorpio stellium in the 12th house, especially when they're personal planets, so he has Mercury, Sun, and Venus in the 12th house. Then you could throw Mars in there because it's conjoined to the 12th house cusp. So you could actually say that it's in the 12th house. This is a president that's not up front. This is a president that's not straight up. They're not up and down. They do things behind the scenes. They do things under the table. This guy has not had a legitimate day in his entire life, I'm convinced. He's been a liar since the day he was born. His cries were full of lies. I mean, this is a man that does not shoot straight. No. And the fact that he has Mars square Pluto, that's a criminal aspect, let alone a rapist aspect, but that's a criminal aspect, especially with Pluto in the 8th house. So again, Pluto's in Leo, the sign of leadership. And that 8th house and Scorpio can also deal with conspiracy. So people conspiring to make sure that he ends up winning. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm not saying my prediction just yet, but I'm just saying what's in his natal chart alone that could result in him winning. And like I said, if he wins, it's not going to be due to some fair and square vote, because you got to take this shit literally. He don't have a stellium in Scorpio for no reason. And when it's combined with the 12th house, that's somebody that's straight up, not straight up. I mean, that's somebody that's a straight up fraud. Let's be real. Now, the moon, ruler of the 8th house, because he has Cancer on the 8th house cusp, is in quincunx with Neptune in his 10th house. First of all, just having Neptune in the 10th house as well. Neptune in the 10th house does not really coincide with presidency, does it? No. So you got to ask yourself, what is that Neptune doing in the 10th house? Well, that could deal with where he's doing things behind the scenes or doing things in, what do you call that? I don't want to call it fraud because Neptune deals with more like charades. It's a game of charades, or even lying, stealing the election, you can even say. So that moon is in quincunx with Neptune. The moon is ruling the house of corruption. It's ruling the house of criminality. It's ruling the house of fraud. That be the 8th house. So I'm just putting it out there right now. Another qualifier is Mercury, which is in his 12th house in Scorpio. It's ruler of his midheaven. Midheaven deals with one's career, and it would deal with the presidency itself. It's in the 12th house, like I said. It's in Scorpio, and it's in trine with Jupiter in Cancer in the 8th house. So that's like him having people that are going to make sure that he is able to win. Because again, you got to ask yourself what that 8th house is doing. And a lot of us that have looked deeper into Biden's life knows that he's already crooked. Now, another qualifier that could show that he could become president. Remember I said Regulus was rising in Donald Trump's chart. So Donald Trump has his ascendant conjoined to Regulus. Well, Biden has his Leo North Node conjoined to Regulus. It's also conjoined to his Chiron. So he is definitely in a position to become president. And Regulus usually is going to be where you're actually the leader. You're the president, not just a vice president. So the fact that Regulus is conjoined to Chiron, you got to ask yourself, because Chiron can deal with things where you buck the system, where you do things below board, where you do things in a crooked manner. where you are the exception to the rule. Wait a minute, who talking about Kamala? Oh, okay. Hold off on your bias until, I mean, y'all can say what you want to say. I'm just saying, just try to have an open mind about this. All right. Now, that's his natal chart. So we already basically determined that, yes, he has it in his chart to become president of the United States. Now, some of this, again, has to be attributed to the fact that he's already been in the White House as the vice president. But like I said, the main determining factor is that Regulus being conjoined to his North Node in Chiron. Now, I pull a few charts to deal with his future and actually his present. So I pulled a solar arc directed chart for today, election day. I also pulled a progress chart for him today and primary directed chart, as well as a tertiary progress chart, because I wanted to look at this from different angles. So Biden does have some things in place that could deal with where he is going to get in. So he does have some aspects in that solar arc directed chart in particular that can deal with where he ends up winning. So for instance, the one that's really hot right now, actually he got two solar arc directed aspects in his chart that are real hot right now that can cause him to win. So he has solar arc Mars in trine with his Neptune, and Neptune's in the 10th house. He also has solar arc Moon in sextile with the midheaven. Midheaven, like I said, that's the presidency itself. Then solar arc Mercury is in trine with Saturn, and Saturn is representing the presidency as well. So in his directed chart alone, things are set up for him to win. I'm not saying he's going to win yet, but I'm saying things are set up that way cosmically for him to win. Now, his progress chart is where it gets a little tricky, but this can be where the fraud comes in, because his progress moon right now is in Pisces. Pisces is the sign of stealing. It's the sign of lying. It's the sign of cheating. It's the sign of doing things behind the scenes. So, and that could deal with him being sick too. So his progress moon is in Pisces right now. It's making a quincunx to his Pluto. Let me go to this progress chart. That's the tertiary. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Let me see how tight that is. Both at the 7th degree. So that's right on right now. So remember I talked about his Pluto being in trine with his ascendant. Well, that progressed moon in Pisces and quincunx with Pluto, that could deal with where he's doing something a little shady in order to get in. Also, his progressed sun is in sesqui square with his 10th house Neptune. So there's that 10th house theme again. And again, it's activating that Neptune in the 10th house, cheating, lies. Progressed Mercury is opposing his Jupiter. That's the tightest one right now, and it's 10 minutes approaching, meaning by inauguration day, that shit's going to be exact probably. Matter of fact, let me pull the progress chart for inauguration day real quick. That right there is very telling, because his progressed Mercury is in Capricorn, sign of the government presidency, and it's opposing Jupiter in Cancer. So let me just progress that chart for inauguration day, and I want to see how much closer it gets. And I'm not keeping up with y'all comments right now because I'm trying to concentrate, but I'm going to get to y'all, get to the chat in a minute. All right, let's see. So we got an inauguration date for 2021, January 20th. So here's that Mercury opposition. It's still, let's see. It's only 8 minutes approaching by the time of inauguration day. So that's very, 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 very close for a progression to be activated and for whatever that progression is going to produce for it to actually play out right around that time. So with that, again, that could be him actually taking office. Mercury opposition Jupiter, him actually moving into the White House. Because Jupiter's in Cancer, Mercury is in Capricorn. And again, I'm not saying he's winning yet. I'm just telling y'all what's going on in his charts that could support a win. Now, when you look at his primary directed chart, primary midheaven is opposing Saturn. So that's another aspect that could deal with a win. Primary Mercury is in trine with Uranus. And let me see, Uranus is ruling his third house. That could be him giving that speech, that whole, you know how they have the congratulatory speech or whatever. Primary Jupiter is opposing Moon. Now, when I saw, that's one's dead on. Interesting. So when I saw that, that was making me think of the fraud situation again, because Jupiter's in Scorpio. Primary Mars in Capricorn and sextile to his Mercury, and Mercury is ruling his midheaven. That actually is the one of the main ones right there that can signify a win. Again, let me repeat that. Primary Mars in Capricorn, sextile Mercury in Scorpio. Mercury is ruling his midheaven. That could be a win right there. And then primary ascendant is squaring his Mercury. And that could just deal with where he's getting bombarded with messages and calls, and, social media is just blowing up and he got to respond and stuff like that. His tertiary progress chart. So he has a tertiary progression of Jupiter. Tertiary progress Jupiter is making a sextile with his Pluto. And that's right on, only 10 minutes separating. I mean, it's so close, you can taste it. Pluto, again, is in Leo, and Biden has that Pluto trine ascendant in his chart. So that's another sign that he could take the election. Now, his transits today on election day, the moon is going to be in his 7th house. It's going to square his midheaven, and it's going to make a quincunx with his Mercury. Also, transiting ascendant is going to be right on his Pluto. Now, for the transit chart, I chose, what time was it? Like 10 o'clock at night, because I wanted to get it close to where all the votes are coming in, and where, because they do a tally as it's going on. I do know that. Oh, you're welcome, Quentin. I know you are concerned about me going on live early. I think you be the one that be saying that. But where was I at? Yeah, what's interesting is the transiting ascendant is going to be right on his Pluto, right around 10 something at night. So right there, he could be getting news that, he's in the run, like he's ahead. Transiting North Node in Gemini is making a quincunx to his Mercury. That is 23 minutes approaching. So I'm thinking that could be a recount request if he does win. Transiting Jupiter is making a sextile with his Mercury. That's a good transit for winning an election, with Jupiter being in Capricorn and Mercury ruling his midheaven. So he has a really good transit right now from Jupiter, blessing his midheaven, and that can deal with where he wins. Now, remember, I said blessing his midheaven, but I mean Mercury, but Mercury rules his midheaven. And again, his Mercury is in Scorpio, the sign of fraud. Now, Scorpio also deals with power. So you could say that Jupiter sextile Mercury is going to represent his rise to power. Also, today, transiting Sun is right on his Mars. That's another aspect that can help him win. The transiting North Node is making a semi-square with his Pluto. And that could deal with him just being under a lot of pressure. But that can also deal with where, the whole situation involving the fraud. Like I was saying, transiting Uranus, squaring Pluto. That could even be where there is a group of people accusing him of committing some type of fraud. And then what's interesting, this is really interesting when I saw it. So right now, The transiting North Node is conjoined to the asteroid Psyche. Not Biden's Psyche, it's conjoined to transiting Psyche. And with them both being in Gemini, and since Gemini represents anything that deals with cards, get me cards. I gotta write this out because sometimes I'm not good at pronouncing my the N words. I mean, the ending of words. So I had to write it out. Cards. Gemini rules cards. Any type of cards or pieces of paper. Paper. You see where I'm going here? Let me just go back. Transiting North Node in Gemini is conjoined to transiting Psyche right now. Gemini deals with cards, paper. What are ballots? Paper, cards, or whatever they're called. And then mail. Remember, Gemini rules the mail. Gemini rules the ballots. Now, if you know about the myth of Psyche, it has different meanings in terms of astrology, but one of the meanings dealing with Psyche is being held back, being held up, being locked away. Hello, you feel me? This is like votes, ballots being held back, being locked away, being hidden. You feel me? So that North Node conjoined to Psyche right now can deal with some of the ballots, especially probably the mail-in votes, being either suppressed or held back. So I just thought that was interesting. Also, transiting Jupiter, the one that, I said Jupiter's already making the sextile to Biden's Mercury, but transiting Jupiter is conjoined to transiting Pallas. So that could deal with where Biden has knowledge beforehand about how this is going to turn out. Because Pallas can deal with where you have some inside information or where you have some wisdom about something. Interesting. Now, let's switch gears. Before I switch gears, I'm gonna have to go into the comment section or the chat and see what y'all are saying, see what y'all think about what I said so far, because in a minute I'm about to get into Kamala's chart, which should be even more eye-opening. All right, damn, I gotta read a lot. Bobby said mass deception. Bobby, yours was first thing that caught my eye. Mass deception. Caleb said, I don't find Biden charismatic at all. Krutika said, will he die if Biden becomes president? Akeda said, I bet Joe Biden got in Hunter's ass too. Addiction is a coping mechanism. Yeah, how about his son Hunter? Now that deals with his North Node in Leo being conjoined to Chiron, because that could deal with having a dysfunctional child or a wayward child. Yes, CVMR, his cries full of lies from the birth. Bobby said Biden's family is a mafia family. Siobhan said how many bodies he got buried, right? With that 12th house Scorpio stellium, Lord have mercy. Probably more than the Clintons. All right, let's see. Renee said, could he be dead already? Are we talking about Biden? Are you talking about because he got that 12th house Scorpio stellium? Janelle said Biden could barely speak. Actually, if, for those real hardcore conspiracy theorists out there, with Biden's chart, this fool could have a clone if you believe in those types of things. He would have a chart of a clone, like of having a clone. I will say that. Most definitely. He got a clone type of chart. RDK approved said there's a clause in the Constitution that states elections should be postponed if in war times. Bobby said, I already read Bobby. Latima said, damn, how is the world going to turn out after he becomes president? Renee said they want Kamala for president. Let me see. Bobby said Kamala is just as evil as Hillary. Dark Mother reversals. Salome said I got Neptune in the first house. Kamala's husband looks like a creeper. Yeah, he does. Akeda said Kamala. Daddy's favorite said, yes, either way we're fucked, but I want Trump for another 4 years. You're saying Trump for another 4 years just doesn't sit right with me. Siobhan said he's too dark for me. Beam me up, Scotty. John said Kamala Harris is waiting for Joe Biden to die so that she could take power. Ask Mahogany said, hi. The one I just watched also said whoever has the least votes will win. Let me see. Kanye Breast said, yes, lots of people are closed-minded and need not vote anyway. Connect says someone was talking about their names. Trump win, beat, while Biden wait patiently. Very scorpionic energy. If really could be either one. The Jam and Berry said, and Russia has the receipts on Trump's. He still got to go. Let's see. There go my neighbor moving furniture again. Jessica said, hey, I'm glad you made the live. All right. Let's see. All right. So I'm about to head into Kamala's chart. Comma, chameleon. You come and go. And that's a good song for her. Karma Chameleon, because she got that Mars square Neptune. I'm about to put up her chart. Love would be easy if your colors were like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. All right. Camel toe. All right, let me switch it. I don't know if y'all could see this chart well anyway, but I'm going to try. Actually, I'll leave that one up just in case I got to go back to it. Okay, where is this chick's chart? Here she go. All right, so here is Kamala or Kamala. Is it Kamala or... And when I say Kamala, it makes me think of that... remember in the WWF? Wasn't there a black wrestler called Kamala or something like that? Please, somebody tell me I'm not crazy thinking this. I swear, back in the day in the 80s, WWF, there was this black wrestler, and he was fat. And his name sounded like Kamala or something like that. Please tell me I'm not making this up. Is it Kamala? It's Kamala or Kamala? See, two people are saying it differently. I don't think it was Rikishi. I swear it was his name sounded like Allah or something. Ronan said there was. See, now I gotta look this shit up. I'm gonna put fat black wrestler WWF. And somewhere along the line, they changed it to WWE. But I remember that shit being WWF. 80s wrestlers. That's what I'm putting in. There was Bam Bam Bigelow, Brutus. I remember all these because I'm an 80s child. Brutus the Barber, Beefcake, Bam Bam Bigelow. I remember them. Ravishing Rick Rude. What was that? Rick Savage? Ric Flair. I remember him. But where I got to find that black dude because I'm not going to be able to rest. Of course, they want to have a slideshow and shit. I just need a list. I used to hate that. I'm so glad my son grew out of wrestling. He used to love, as a kid, he loved that WWE or whatever it was. Oh, I hated that shit. All right, but anyway, I can't find him, but I swear it was this fat black dude. It was Kamala the wrestler? Bruiser Body. You said You're Not Crazy 1993. It was, yeah, it used to be WWF. I don't know why they changed it. But I used to love some Glow Akeda with the gorgeous ladies up wrestling. I remember two of my favorite was Hollywood and Vine. They were the tag team. Glow was the shit. I remember the Junkyard Dog, but that was a different. This one I'm talking about, he actually dressed like he was from some African tribe or something. I don't. Well, I didn't like my son watching it. That was the thing, because it had some like strong sexual content sometimes, and my son's father, he would let him watch that shit. But I would try to, prevent him from watching it when he was with me. But yeah, my son was watching it when Triple H was hot, and what was Stone Cold Austin, those ones. He was watching it during that era. And he used to act like he was acting out the wrestling matches. Like he would get this little mattress thing we had, and he'd be like always making himself fall on the floor and start acting like he wrestling some imaginary opponent and shit. Now he's just not just, he's a gamer, but he's also a clothing designer. Believe it or not. I'm proud of him. Okay. So, Kamala Harris chart. Wait a minute, who just passed? So his name what? I knew I wasn't imagining this. So let me look this up. James Kamala Harris. Oh my God, I knew I was not imagining this. Thank you so much, Shimon. Thank you. I told y'all. And he had the leopard print. See, I got a good memory, but I can't, like, my memory's not that, clear, but I do remember like vague stuff like that. I knew there was a wrestler called Kamala. What if she made that shit up? Let me stop. Okay. Now, Kamala. So we want to look at her natal chart for aspects that can result in her winning the vice presidency, okay? Now, she's already in government. Wasn't she like the attorney general or something? Somebody please tell me what her current title is. What is she? Is she the attorney general or not the attorney general, district attorney or something? What is she? I want to try this Harold. Ric Flair and his hair. All right. So, some of the aspects in her chart that can enable her to be, so she's a senator, California. Hey, Dana. So some of the aspects in her chart that can enable her to become vice president is that she has Saturn conjoined to her midheaven. So that's very advantageous. It's just that Saturn's in Aquarius. It's at the 28th degree of Aquarius, which that 28, stay with me with the 28 because I'm going to explain that in a minute. She got Saturn at the 28th degree of Aquarius, and her midheaven is at the 2nd degree of Pisces, but that's still a conjunction. So just Saturn on her midheaven alone could deal with her working in government, but that can also put her as a title of some president, whether it's the presidency itself or her being a vice president. Now, where the vice president theme really comes in, though, remember I said the sign Gemini can contribute to the whole vice president theme because that's like being a second runner-up or being the second right-hand man or being half of something. So her Saturn is in trine with her Gemini ascendant and her Gemini North Node. Her Saturn is also opposing Mars in Leo. So that's like her working in opposition to the president, which I'm going to get deeper into in a minute. This is real interesting when you look at it from her perspective. Now, Saturn is ruling her 8th house through Capricorn, okay? So when I look at this hookup, and I hope I'm not confusing you guys, so stay with me. Before I even get into this situation, let me just go back. Her sun is in trine with Saturn, which is another great aspect that can enable her to win the vice presidency. So, Sun trine Saturn, and that's a tight aspect, less than 1 degree apart. So she has, and with that sun being in the fifth house deals with leadership. She has what it takes to become vice president in terms of aspects. Then when you put all that together, that creates a grand trine in her chart. So she has a grand trine consisting of her ascendant and north node in Gemini. It's in trine with Saturn and Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius is in trine with her Libra sun. So that's a grand trine right there. That grand trine can set her up for the vice presidency. Now, we already know that that grand trine has made her successful. Didn't she start off as an attorney and then became like a district attorney or something and then became senator? A lot of these politicians start off as attorneys, lawyers. I was about to say liars, lawyers. Sometimes it's the same thing. A lot of these politicians start off as lawyers. And I think somebody said her husband's a lawyer too or something. But anyway, just know that she has it in her chart to become vice president, but even president herself. Now, let me tell you how she could become a president. So, she could become a president under exceptional circumstances. Why am I saying exceptional circumstances? Because she has that Chiron in Pisces in the 10th house. When Chiron's in any house, you could say there's something exceptional about that area of life. So, she could, again, end up becoming president due to exceptional circumstances. Now, remember I said that the midheaven, and you can throw the 10th house in there, that's the presidency itself. So, in her eyes, like from her perspective, if Biden wins, that would fit right into Pisces on the midheaven. Why? Because we already know that Biden is in a weakened state. He's towards the end of his life. He's in a weakened state. He's not really up to being the president. We've all seen it with him stumbling over his words, acting all senile, actually having Pisces on the midheaven. That could be a senile president. Like if you want, oh, that was my alarm that I set. I was like, when I set this alarm, that means that I got to wrap it up. So yeah, let me hurry up because I can't be on here long. I got things to do. But anyway, having Pisces on the midheaven like that, that could be a president that's senile or that's sick or that's in a weakened position. And then remember I told you her Saturn is conjoined to her midheaven. Saturn is at the 28th degree of Aquarius. That 28 is a come-up degree. That could deal with a sudden advancement, especially because we're talking about Aquarius. 28th degree of Aquarius, that's a sudden come-up, a sudden advancement. You could even say it's a sudden rise to power, especially when you take into account that Saturn is opposing her Mars in Leo. That's like her usurping the presidency or being entitled to the presidency because of what? Because Biden ends up getting sick, either so sick that he can't sit as president anymore, or even worse, where he dies. So some of y'all talking about, yeah, him dying and Kamala becoming president, y'all right on target with what I see in her chart. So stay with me on this. She has Capricorn on the 8th house. Capricorn is the president. 8th house is death. That could be, again, when you look at Saturn in Aquarius, 28th degree of Aquarius, conjoined to the midheaven, ruling the 8th house. That's the epitome of her becoming president because the president dies. Hello. Yes. So she has it in her chart dealing with a rise to power as a result of the president's death. To make it even, to drive the point home even more, remember I talked about the star Regulus. So Regulus shows up in Kamala's chart through an opposition to Saturn. So Regulus, which is a star that can make somebody a president, make somebody a leader of the world, Regulus is opposed to her Saturn in Aquarius. And remember I told you Regulus is conjoined to Joe Biden's North Node, which means that her Saturn is conjoined to his South Node. Her Saturn is opposing his North Node, Chiron, and Regulus in Leo. That's like her being entitled to the presidency. That's like her taking over. You could say that's a takeover. Also, her and Biden do not get along, namely because her Mars in Leo is squaring his Mercury in Scorpio. That's even where she tries to attack him at some point. Matter of fact, I was even thinking something real sinister could go down where they actually make her do the dirty deed to get him on out of here. Now, I'm doing a lot of speculating right now, but I'm just saying what's in their synastry and what's going on between their two charts. Her Neptune is conjoined to his Mars. Her Chiron is in trine with his Mars. So that could deal with her being his running mate, but that can also deal with where she ends up rising to power because he dies, because his Mars is in Scorpio. So that could deal with her rise to power because her Chiron's in the 10th house. So I said she could become president due to exceptional circumstances. So those exceptional circumstances are being activated by Biden's Mars in Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign of death. That could be his death. And then her moon in Aries is in quincunx to his sun, and Venus is a tight quincunx. So trust me, they do not get along. She can't wait for that man to croak. Now, her transits on election day. So the moon, wait a minute, is this Biden's chart I'm looking at for the transits? Or is this, this is Kamala's chart. So her transits on election day. Transiting moon is going to be in the 12th house. That could be some secrets going on, some cheating or whatever like that, some type of scandal. And it's going to be conjoined to her ascendant. It's going to sextile her Mars in Leo. Again, remember I said that Leo theme coming out with president's leadership. This is what's really going to enable her to win the vice presidency. Transiting North Node is in sextile with that Mars in Leo. Transiting South Node is in trine with Mars in Leo. Transiting Mercury is in trine with her North Node in Gemini. It's in sextile with her South Node in Sagittarius. These are transits that can enable her to win the presidency. Also, transiting Neptune is opposing Venus. Now, that became exact earlier this year, like all the way back in February, but it's still in effect. It's going to start passing away, but that kind of tells me that she was already selected, not elected, but I know some of y'all don't want to hear that. Also, transiting Jupiter is in quincunx with her Mars in Leo, and that could deal with where, again, people are going to start questioning, if they win, people will be questioning, okay, how exactly did you win? And, she could be facing some type of backlash along with Biden. Her progress chart is looking really good in terms of her rising to power or winning the election. One of the tightest aspects in her progress chart is her progress moon is in sextile to Chiron. Chiron's in the 10th house. Remember I told you about that. Her progress moon is in trine with Pluto. And her progress moon is in trine with Uranus. That progress moon trine Pluto, that can also signify a rise to power. Her progress moon is opposing Neptune. Now that's approaching, it's going to become exact 2 months from now. What happens about 2 months from now? The inauguration. So when you see that progressed moon opposing Neptune, that's like, oh, now her level of security changes because that could deal with, now she's being guarded by the Secret Service. And then progressed sun opposing the ascendant. That's a very interesting one. So that progressed sun opposing the ascendant, just know that she's at a time in her life where she could be on the spotlight, like the spotlight is on her, especially because her progressed sun is in Sagittarius, that's politics. And then progressed midheaven sextile Saturn, that's another one that can deal with her winning the vice presidency. And then her progressed ascendant is in semi-square with her natal ascendant. That could deal with where people are accusing them of duplicity, maybe asking for a recount. But that can even just deal with a change in terms of her title. And then progressed sun in quincunx with her Jupiter. Let me see what house her Jupiter's in. So she can be accused of cheating because Jupiter's in the 12th house. Her primary directions can deal with a win. They're pretty on point. Her primary directed moon is conjoined to her north node right now. Actually, it's approaching it. It's not dead on though. But this is real tight in her primary directed chart. Primary Pluto is in trine and Chiron in the 10th house. This Chiron keeps coming up in the 10th house. Primary midheaven sextile Saturn. Saturn is planet of the presidency. Primary Chiron trine Uranus. Primary Saturn sextile ascendant. Basically, she has a lot of shit going on in her favor right now. The same with Biden. Now, I not just looked at election day, I wanted to look at inauguration day. So, on inauguration day, which is going to take place on June 20th, 2021, if that even happens, because you know this is some crazy stuff right here. Hey, KJ, how you doing? Transiting Sun is in trine. Oh, let me just make it clear. So right now I'm talking about Biden's transits on inauguration day. On inauguration day, the sun is going to be in trine with Biden's Neptune, and his Neptune is in the 10th house. Also, transiting Saturn is going to be making a sextile with his ascendant. That could be him assuming the title of president. And then transiting Pluto in Capricorn is opposing his Jupiter in Cancer. I see that transit as him taking over the presidency and actually physically moving into the White House with that one. So, Trump's transits on election day. Trump doesn't have that many great transits that can signify a win, but he does have transiting Uranus and sextile with the Mercury. So that can deal with, maybe he'll win the popular vote with that transit, but I will say it is separating, but it's still very close. It's still very much activated in his chart. So that can really help him out with the votes. But there's other things in his chart that can deal with him being dethroned. You know how Leo is the king? And kings can always be dethroned. So Trump has two transits going down right now that could deal with him being dethroned, him being no longer the king of the world, because that's how they look at the president of the United States. Because other countries are watching this too. You know how the United States considers themselves to be a superpower, and they will call the president of the United States the leader of the free world. So two of the transits that deal with him being dethroned is transiting Saturn is forming a quincunx to his Mars in Leo. Let me pull up his chart. Where is Trump? Trump-da-dum-dum-dum. First of all, if Trump wins, people going to be rioting in the streets because a lot of them Democrats, liberals, they like to act up. But anyway, transiting Saturn right now is making a quincunx with his Mars, and that could deal with him being dethroned. And then transiting Pluto is making a quincunx with his Sun. And that's another aspect that can deal with him being dethroned. Like, you're no longer king anymore. You got to step down. Hey, Sid, how you doing? Transiting Mars is opposing his Chiron. It's not exact right now, but it's approaching, and that can deal with him feeling like a sore loser. Transiting Ascendant will be in his 12th house. So he could be crying, cheater, cheater, cheater. And 12th house does deal with loss. Transiting Chiron is opposing Neptune, and that's another transit that can deal with a loss. Now, this is interesting. Transiting Moon on election night is going to be smack dab on the North Node. And it just so happened to be smack dab. I'm talking about 0 degree, 0 minute orb, right at the time that I arbitrarily chose. So like I said, I purposely chose the transit chart for later on tonight, East Coast time. So I chose it for, let me tell you the time exactly. I chose it for 10:30 p.m. New York time. So right at that time, the transiting moon is going to be on Trump's North Node, like smack dab on it. So already he might be talking about he going to ask for a recount if the numbers don't come out in his favor, if the votes don't come out in his favor. He might be talking a lot of shit during that time of the night. Because like I said, you know how they'll have a running tally of the votes coming in? So it might be where towards the end of the night, Biden starts to creep up, because it might happen like this with with the transit Uranus making a sextile to Trump's Mercury. He might come out on top in the beginning when they're first tallying up the votes and they're saying, okay, Trump has most of the states here, and you know how they break it down by state. So Trump might be off to a good start, but then some at some point in the night, and again, this is all speculation on my part, but I'm about to pull out my tarot deck too before I close out. At some point in the night, there might be a shift, and that can be represented by this Gemini moon. There might be a shift at some point in the night where it shifts over to Biden's favor, and that could trigger a response from Trump where he's saying, oh, it's voter fraud. You know how he talks. Oh, we're going to have to ask for a recount. Oh, they haven't counted all the mail-in votes. Oh, this is a travesty. Oh, all my supporters, I know I have more supporters than Biden, and stuff like this. So he might start getting like that. I see the Gemini moon as being a recount. And Trump is, he's having his nodal return soon. So that nodal return could signify his request for a recount if Biden wins. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Trump had said that during one of his debates or something like that, that if Biden wins, he's definitely going to ask for a recount. Also, and he might be really focusing on the mail-in ballots. So again, Trump he's headed for his nodal return. It's going to happen this month, later on this month. So that could be the recount. And then let me see what else. That's pretty much it in terms of his current transits. Now, in terms of progressions, his progressions aren't even that great either in terms of signifying a win. So his progressed moon, if you want to just compare the two, going back to Biden's chart, Biden's progressed moon is in quincunx to his Pluto in Leo. Even though it's a quincunx, that quincunx could deal with you arranging things behind the scenes. Now, you have more leeway with a quincunx than you do with a square. A quincunx is just kind of like you got to dip and dive a little bit. You got to stick and move a little bit. But a square is like you being blocked from something. So Trump's progressed moon is squaring both his Uranus and his nodes. Mind you, his North Node is in the 10th house. So that could deal with him being denied the presidency, or also him, again, being, concerned about the counting of the votes. Also, his progressed moon is at the 18th degree of Virgo. That 18 is a challenging number. I call it a murderous degree. So he could be crying foul. It's also a fraudulent degree. So again, he could be crying foul. And because we're talking about Virgo, he could be talking about we need to analyze the voting. His this is one of the progressions that can work out in his favor. So his progressed midheaven is in sextile to his Neptune. Let me pull up Donald Trump's single chart right here. So his progressed, and I'm saying pull it up for myself. I'm not putting it up there because I don't got time. But his progressed midheaven, and whenever you have a progression of the midheaven or the ascendant, that's very significant. It's in sextile to his Neptune. Now, Neptune is not really connected to his 10th house, though. I mean, it is in terms of... No, it's not, actually. Those are other planets in his second house. Neptune's in the second house, right? Now, this progressed midheaven is in... Let me go back and see where his midheaven's at. His progressed midheaven... Let me go back. Where's Trump's progressed chart? So his progressed midheaven... Is that Leo? Yeah, his progressed midheaven is Leo. So that could actually help him out. And then his Neptune is in Libra. So this is a progression, and this is where it can get tricky. So this could help him win. And then he has progressed ascendant in Libra, sextile ascendant in Leo. So those are two progressions that could help him to win. So I'll say this. Biden looks like the stronger candidate, especially when you take into account Kamala's transits and progressions and directions and Biden's. But Trump could give them a run for the money, especially through the popular vote. So like I said, remember I said like maybe in the beginning Trump will be in the lead when they start tallying up the votes, but then there might be a shift somewhere down the line where Biden starts winning, or it could be where maybe Trump wins the popular vote. And again, I'm about to pull out my tarot cards and we're going to look into this deeper. Maybe Trump wins the popular vote, but it has to go through the Electoral College. And this has happened before. I believe, wasn't it the Bush-Gore election where Gore won the popular vote, but then Bush ended up winning the Electoral College? Did this even happen with the most recent election with Hillary and Trump, where the Electoral College voted against the popular vote? Y'all let me know about that. But I'll say this. Trump has it to at least win the popular vote or to at least be in the lead in terms of this election. But again, with that Gemini moon, shit could get real screwy and shit can shift at any moment. Now, so when I look at that progressed midheaven and sextile to his Neptune, instead of the presidency, because again, that Neptune's in the second house. And even though the midheaven's in Leo, the progressed midheaven, I'm seeing that more so as him being able to breathe a sigh of release, because when you got Neptune connected with the midheaven, that could deal with a retirement. That could deal with where you're being relieved of your responsibility. You're being relieved of your duties. And remember, I started off this live stream saying, I don't think Trump even wanted to be president. I think he had to do somebody a favor, and that's why he became president. So for somebody that doesn't really even want to be president, let's be real, he's one of them wacky Geminis, I could see how him not winning could actually be a sigh of relief for him, even if he plays up to the media, acts like he's upset and he wants a recount and all this stuff. I can see Trump really being happy that he didn't win and that he doesn't have to usher this country into hell, which is what we're headed for. Because whoever gets in the office, trust and believe, we are headed for a regime change, because Saturn's about to Aquarius again. And it's about to conjoin Jupiter. So that conjunction in Aquarius, you might as well say it's a regime change. So whoever's going to be president has a lot of work to do, and they're going to be under a lot of pressure. So it would make sense with this progressed midheaven being in sextile to Neptune that Trump would actually be relieved that he didn't win. All right. Now, with that being said, I got to get ready and close out, but I'm going to put my Cash App up here again, just in case somebody wants to donate for the cause, because I do be putting in some work sometimes. So if you just want to donate just to be nice and, show your appreciation and all that stuff, I greatly appreciate it. I'm not going to have time to do the one card readings, but yeah. So we're going to look at this from a few different angles. So first, I'm going to be looking at, should we do Biden first or Trump first in terms of the cards? Because I want to split this up. Thank you, KJ. I want to split this up. I want to split it up between the popular vote and the Electoral College vote. Because again, this is a real tricky situation, especially like any type of election is going to be tricky, especially since you got the Electoral College in the way. So you said Trump first? Okay. So elections are going to be tricky, which is why you got to think about how you want to approach the tarot reading. Because sometimes, and those out there that read tarot, I know you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes when you want a straight up answer, tarot going to give you some roundabout answer that you got, you're going to be scratching your head talking about. Sometimes that shit will make you mad too. You be like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, for instance, you want a straight up answer, but you get the fucking Page of Cups and shit. Now, of course, under certain circumstances, that Page of Cups can be straightforward. But anybody that reads tarot, them damn pages and the court cards in general can be real tricky. So that's why I always advocate that when you're doing tarot readings, that you try to really narrow down your focus. Don't just say who's going to win and pull a card, because that's going to be hard to determine that way. Instead, why not look at each of the candidates separately and see what the energy is surrounding them and see if that energy is going to be enough for them to win. So a couple of people said Trump first, so we're going to look at Trump first. So I'm going to do a 4-card reading. The 4 cards, first card is situation, second card is challenge, third card is advice. Thank you, Regine. Thank you for your super chat. And welcome. I didn't see you earlier. So if you just came in, hey. So again, this is a 4-card spread. It's one of my favorite spreads. It's one of my go-to spreads. So it's real simple. First card is the situation. Second card is the challenge. Third card is the advice, which is really going to give you your answer. And the fourth card is the outcome. So I'm asking right now, is Trump going to win the popular vote? Is Trump going to win the popular vote? I'm going to give me a good meal after this. Yes. Because, you know, it takes a lot for me to go live earlier in the day. So I hope y'all are appreciating this because I'm usually not a morning person. And I went live. What was it? I hope y'all can still hear me. Okay, it's saying reconnection successful. That's weird. That's some stationary Mercury shit. But what was I saying? Somebody cash at me. Thank you so much. I'll see who it was in a minute. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, if it's 11:30 in the afternoon, in the morning, it might as well be 6:30 to me. Even though, let me tell y'all, I be up sometime. Most days I'm up by like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. But then I usually take a mid-morning nap. And then I'm back up, and then I'm ready to really get my day started. So I'll get up at sometimes I'm up at 4, or sometimes I just pull all-nighters. If I pull an all-nighter, though, this is the crazy part. If I pull an all-nighter, that means I'm going to bed at 5 a.m., and I'm back up at 8. Thank you, Connect. Thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you so much. And I'm usually up by, if I'm pulling an all-nighter, I go to bed around 5. I'm usually up by 8 or 9. That's just how it works. And then I might try to get a nap in. But yeah, doing this in the morning, not really my cup of tea. But I knew that a lot of y'all wanted to, wanted my insight on it. So I was like, let me make sure I get it in before those, the polls close tonight. Okay, this is interesting, but again, this can be tricky. Thank you so much, Jessica, for your donation. So this is going to be tricky because we got 2 court cards up in here, and I told y'all about them damn court cards. And I'm not being fooled by this one particular court card because I did a reading one time about this Super Bowl, and this same court card came up, and it ended up not being in that team's favor. So I'm not going to allow tarot to throw me a fast one this time. Now, the situation is the 9 of Cups. So let me type that up. That basically means that Trump is already in the position. He already sitting in the president's seat when you say that 9 of Cups. It can also mean that he's very cocky right now. He's very confident that he's at least going to win that popular vote. You could look at him as sitting pretty right now because that 9 of Cups is sitting pretty. And then challenge is the Page of Wands. Remember I said with that Gemini moon, there could be a shift at some point in the night. So number one, the Page of Wands in the challenge position could deal with, KJ says she got the 8 of Cups in the current situation. He probably doesn't want this position. He ready to leave. I told you he tired. He ain't trying to be under pressure like this, especially for the next 4 years with this country going to hell in a handbasket. So the challenge is the Page of Wands, and that could deal with where he's being overly confident right now. He being cocky. So he might think that he has this in the bag, but remember I said with that Gemini moon, shit can shift. Thank you so much for your super chats, Jam and Berries. Now, for the advice, I got the King of Wands. King of Wands, that's like a Leo. That to me says popular vote. But again, you can't be exactly sure with the King of Wands sometimes. Them court cards are real tricky. And you remember I was talking trash about the court cards. And you see how tarot like is a smart ass sometimes. Them spirits behind the tarot deck, they smart asses. They was like, bitch, we going about to give you another court card. Matter of fact, we going to give you 2 court cards since you want to run your mouth. So that's what I got. I got 2 court cards, both of them wands, Page of Wands. Advice is the King of Wands. That looks like the popular vote to me. Get out of here. I got that stupid McAfee notification. So King of Wands. So that right there can represent Trump's Mars in Leo. It can represent his Leo rising. So Leo is a sign of popularity. So advice is popular vote. So I'm going to say he could very well win that popular vote. That's a really good sign. And then we got the Hermit card for the outcome. Remember I told you that there's a high chance he could ask for a recount. When I look at that Hermit card, that's making me think of a recount. So again, even if he wins the popular vote, he still may not win that electoral college. Let me just pull one more card. Now, we got the Ace of Pentacles for a card just to clarify things. Now, that Ace of Pentacles, that could deal with a new phase in his life. That could deal with a new phase in his life. If it was him staying in office, I don't really see that presidency being represented by that Ace of Pentacles. But what that could represent could be the actual recount itself, where he is granted that recount. Let me just type this up. So first is the 9 of Cups. Second is the Page of Wands. Third, King of Wands. Fourth card, outcome, is the Hermit. And then after that, we got the Ace of Pentacles. That Ace of Pentacles, that could be where he's changing homes. He ain't going to be in the White House no more, perhaps. Now, but remember, we just asked about the popular vote, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So we're going to switch over to Biden since we're sticking with the popular vote right now. I keep getting these McAfee things. Get out of here. It's like some Virgo shit. Nagging me in the middle of me trying to do this reading. All right. So now we're going to look at Biden in terms of the popular vote. And then we'll look at both of them individually for the Electoral College. And then I'll probably just pull a final card for the both of them and see. And then I got to get ready and get out of here. So will Biden win the popular vote? Will Biden win the popular vote? Situation. We got the Empress. That makes me think of Kamala all day. Like he's really riding on the fact that Kamala is going to be the, the deciding factor. That's what I see with that Empress. But then again, that can already mean that he's very much familiar with how things work. He's been vice president before. Basically, it's just showing that, yeah, he's kind of sitting pretty right now. I don't even trust the way this Empress card looks. It's almost like he knows he got it. But then again, let me not get ahead of myself. Challenge, King of Swords. That challenge could be arbitration. Because that King of Swords, he's the arbitrator. He's the mediator. He's the one that makes that final decision. So with that King of Swords, maybe he's counting on the Electoral College to come through for him in a pinch. But again, this reading is about the popular vote. But you see with this King of Swords being in the challenge position, that can, again, deal with where he's not exactly fully sure he's going to get that popular vote. And maybe that's why he's really hoping for that electoral. Interesting. Oh my God, this is interesting. So the advice card I got was the Wheel of Fortune. Remember I said there could be a shift at some point in the night where Trump is leading, but then things turn around and then Biden starts to come up. It could be a very close election, y'all, in terms of the popular vote. So that Wheel of Fortune, that's tricky. So now we got to compare the two, Wheel of Fortune versus King of Wands. I'm looking more so at the Wheel of Fortune because, again, that could deal with where things turn around in his favor or where he comes up all of a sudden. And then the outcome is the Seven of Swords. This card came up before, I swear, dealing with Biden when I did a reading earlier. That Seven of Swords, that kind of coincides with what I was saying about the election, you know, him doing some behind the scenes type of shit. Kanye Breast said Biden won good night. That Seven of Swords can deal with where he doing some underhanded shit. And then what comes after that is the Eight of Swords. Oh shit. I'm not even gonna say what that card is. That Eight of Swords can mean he's being held up because perhaps there is a recount, because that Eight of Swords is Gemini. That's Jupiter in Gemini. So there might, like I said, if it ends up where Biden ends up coming up, because that's what that Wheel of Fortune can mean. And it could be because of that Seven of Swords, they realized that it was fixed or some way, or that's what he's being accused of. So then it could be that Eight of Swords comes through, where now it's being held up, recount. And it's highly likely because Mercury is going to be stationary. Interesting. So let me make my final determination in terms of this popular vote. Wheel of Fortune versus King of Wands. This is real tricky because both of those can be very positive cards, but in terms of that Wheel of Fortune, that's like, you know, fortune is on your side, especially because he's not president already. So that could deal with where he ends up coming up through that Wheel of Fortune. But that can also mean that things turn out in his favor because of something working behind the scenes. So KJ said 10 of Swords clarified by the 2 of Swords, a recount. That's what it looks like. Yeah. Now, so we did the popular vote. Quick, very quick. Let's see about this Electoral College. So is Trump going to be voted in as president via the Electoral College? Because they have the final say. And despite who wins the popular vote, that Electoral College can always turn things around. Somebody sent me a super chat. Thank you for that. Let me see who that was. I mean, not a super chat. Thank you, Theodore. Thank you so much for your donation. All right, so is the Electoral College going to decide in Trump's favor so that he stays in office? Is Trump going to stay in office through the Electoral College? I have to admit, these readings, it's actually easier to me to read the charts as opposed to being able to decipher some of what these tarot cards are saying, simply because I feel like this election is not straightforward. Interesting. So let me make sure I type this down before I draw cards. So the first card, this was 7 of Swords, 8 of Swords, and then, all right. So the first card I got for Trump is King of Cups. So we're doing electoral. King of Cups is a situation. That's like, kind of like, I feel like that King of Cups, it's like he's appealing already almost. The challenge is the Queen of Wands, which means that he's not in a confident position at this point. The advice is the Knight of Cups, which is like an offering, but then again, that Knight of Cups is very tricky. I'm gonna have, before I make my determination, I'm gonna have to look at Biden's. So challenge is the Queen of Wands, which means usually if the Queen of Wands is in a challenge position, that means that he's not very confident at this point. And that can even mean Kamala, like she got some one up on him at that point. And then the outcome is the Five of Wands. That don't look too good. But then again, the Five of Wands can deal with where you are demonstrating your strength. But then the card that comes after that is the Death card. So that don't look really good. I'll just say this electoral college vote don't look really good. It don't really look like it's in Trump's favor. Let me look at Biden, and then I'm going to have to get up and get on out of here. But I will say this. Actually, I'll just wait until I provide my closing remarks. So is Biden going to win the presidency via the electoral college, the final vote? Is Biden going to get it? Is Biden going to win? Let me make sure I put Trump. And this is Biden. So let's see. Is Biden going to win via the electoral college? Is he going to basically win the election for president of the United States? It's getting hot in here. Damn. Okay, so situation, Knight of Wands. That's a victorious card. Challenge, King of Pentacles. I feel like that challenge could be legitimacy. People might be questioning his legitimacy at that point. Advice is the Knight of Pentacles. Look, we got two knights. We got the Knight of Cups for Trump in the advice. And then for Biden, we have Knight of Pentacles. I have to tell you, Knight of Pentacles sounds much better than Knight of Trumps. I said Knight of Trumps. Knight of Cups. So Biden has Knight of Pentacles, especially if we're talking about government. And then Trump has Knight of Cups. And we're talking about advice for the electoral college, which is basically your answer. Now the outcome. Here's the outcome for Biden. And I feel like I feel confident enough to give my final answer at this point. I believe Biden's going to win the election. So I think we're going to have President Biden, especially considering the transits and the progressions that both him and Kamala have going on in their charts. Now, there might be, again, some craziness that goes on with the votes and all that stuff. We might not even hear who wins until the end of this month or whatever. And like I said, if Biden ends up winning like the popular vote, you best believe Trump is probably going to ask for the recount and stuff like that. But even through the recount, it looks like Biden's going to come out. And it would make sense because, like I said, Saturn is going to go back into Aquarius, and that can be a regime change. That's not like where things stay the same, where Trump gets to stay in office. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. And again, this is just my prediction. So predictions can be wrong, but I am sticking my neck out. So I'm going to say, based upon the charts, based upon the cards, it looks like Biden is going to end up winning the election. He's going to be our next president. So what y'all think about that? I'm going to pull one more card. I'm going to just do one card. Is Biden going to be the next president of the United States, 2021? Somebody said stay home. Is Biden going to be the next president of the United States? One card. Now watch it be some vague ass shit. And I'm gonna just throw the cards against the room and say I'm done. I'll be like, I'll see y'all later. I got the Ace of Pentacles. Now remember, the Ace of Pentacles came up in that reading for Trump, but I was like, since Trump's already in office, that could be he's entering a new phase in his life. Now with the Ace of Pentacles with Biden, that could be him entering a new phase in his life, and that could be the presidency. Welcome to the White House, Biden. So you got the Hierophant for Biden. That sounds like the Electoral College will be voting on his behalf, like voting for him. You said the Ace of Pentacles came up in the challenge position for you, for Trump. Okay, for Trump's reading. All right, let me see what some of y'all are saying, but I got to get ready and get out of here. But I should pull a card and see, is Kamala Harris going to be the next vice president? Because we didn't even do a tarot reading on her. Is Kamala Harris going to be the next vice president? Somebody said they're dirtbag. They're all dirtbags. Dirtbag. Honestly, I feel like whoever wins, we're still headed for hell in a handbasket. Especially with Saturn going into Aquarius. And then, yeah, it's just not going to be too fun, I don't see. I got the Sun card. You can't ask for a better card when it comes to winning. So again, I pulled the card to see if Kamala was going to be the next vice president, and I got the Sun card. So what y'all think? There, you got the Emperor for Kamala, so that means eventually she's going to be president. She might off Biden herself, from what I see in her chart. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna get on out of here, get ready and go. But again, I'm gonna put my cash app out there one more time in case anybody want to donate to the cause, because you appreciated my take on this. So again, I could be wrong, but it does look like a lot of arrows are pointing to Biden and Kamala in terms of this election. But you know, I'll be watching to see how things go down. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So if I'm right, I'm right. It don't matter either way, because again, I don't vote. I'm not biased towards either one of them. So, but again, remember I said if a gun was to my head and I had to choose one, honestly, thank you so much, Connect. Honestly, if I had to choose one because somebody was holding a gun to my head, some of y'all might hate me for this, but I would vote for Trump. Ooh. Simply because I know how extreme Democrats can be when they get into government. That's the reason. I'd rather deal with the devil that we already know than deal with some new devil. That's why I'm saying I would vote for him. Not because I like him, because I feel like he's a damn orangutan. But I would simply vote for him because we already know the beast. We already know this devil. So I really don't trust this new devil coming in here, because I feel like he's going to be instituting some draconian measures. He already was talking about certain things that he had planned. So I'm not looking forward to this shit at all. If Biden happens to win, I'm not looking forward to it. And I have to admit, at least Trump had a sense of humor. Biden don't have a funny bone in his damn body. He laughed a little too hard. It looked like his face going to crack apart. Jessica said, I'm with you, Ra. He could be dumb sometimes, but he has more stamina than Biden. I ain't even gonna lie. Some of the stuff I heard Trump say, I was cracking up about it. And like I said, I think Trump is ready to leave office. I don't even think he wants none of this anymore. Janelle said, any astrology related courses coming up? Well, you can always take my individual course if you want to, take a course that's, basically 16 or more weeks in length. Or I am going to be putting on a workshop soon. I just don't know what yet. So, but I definitely want to put on a workshop before this month ends. So just stick with me on that. I'll be back soon with the date for that. But yeah, thank you everybody for sticking with me and for joining me for this live stream. Whoever wins, don't lose your mind over this, because this is out of all of our control. We really don't I don't care if they say rock the vote or die or whatever like that. In the whole scheme of things, we're not really in control of all this. So there's no reason to get all bent out of shape if the candidate that you voted for didn't win. You know, just say that, worry about your own individual life and try to make the best of it regardless of who is in office. That's what I say. Oh, if you want a natal chart reading, my natural, you could go to my website. All my prices are on there. And if anybody would like a reading, you could go to my website for that. And again, love you guys. Stay safe. Don't freak out. Don't let the ether get you. And I'll be back with some more videos real soon. All right. Bye, y'all.